In the quiet suburbs of a mid-sized American city, where manicured lawns hid the secrets of fractured families, lived a woman named Renate Richter. At 71 years old, Renate had spent most of her life giving, first to her late husband Robert, who passed away from a sudden heart attack when their son Max was just a boy, and then to Max himself, pouring every ounce of her love, time, and eventually her savings into ensuring he never wanted for anything. Renate had worked 2 jobs as a young widow, days as a school secretary and evenings at a local diner, scraping together enough to send Max to college, buy him his first car, and set him up in his adult life. She believed that's what mothers did. They sacrificed so the next generation could thrive. But as the years wore on, Renate's sacrifices morphed into something more insidious. Max, now 35, had met Lena 3 years ago at a work conference. Lena was sharp, ambitious, and came from a family that valued appearances over substance. Their whirlwind romance led to cohabitation in a cozy apartment that Renate helped furnish. At first, it was small things. A $200 loan here for groceries, $500 there for rent when Max's job as a mid-level accountant hit a rough patch. Renate didn't mind. She saw it as her duty. Family helps family, she'd say to herself, echoing the words her own mother had instilled in her during the Great Depression-era stories she'd heard as a child. Over time, those small things ballooned. The monthly rent transfers became automatic, deducted straight from Renate's modest pension and the inheritance Robert had left her, a nest egg meant for her golden years. Furniture, appliances, even Lena's personal expenses like spa days and designer clothes, all flowed from Renate's accounts. She calculated it once, late at night when sleep evaded her. Over $20,000 in the first 2 years alone. But she pushed the thought away. Max called her Mama Bear, and Lena occasionally sent thank you texts with heart emojis. That was enough, wasn't it? The turning point came on a crisp autumn afternoon in October 2024. Renate had been buzzing with excitement for weeks. Max had proposed to Lena, and wedding plans were underway. Renate had already bought a pale pink dress for $200, imagining herself in the family photos, beaming beside her only son. She'd set aside $1,000 as a gift, cleaned her house top to bottom in case they wanted to celebrate there afterward, and even called her sister Diana in Chicago to share the joy. "It's finally happening," she'd gushed over the phone. "My boy is settling down." Picking up the phone that day, Renate dialed Max with a smile. "Sweetheart, have you set a date yet? I can't wait to help with the details." But it was Lena who answered, her voice cool and composed. Through the speaker, Renate could hear the background chatter of their living room, the one she'd furnished with a plush sofa and coffee table just last year. "Oh, Renate," Lena said, her tone laced with a chilling sweetness. "We already got married yesterday. We only invited special people." The words landed like a physical blow. Renate froze in her kitchen, the phone heavy in her hand. Special people. She, who had paid their $500 rent every month for 3 years, who had stocked their fridge when Max lost his job briefly, who had given Lena $800 just last month for wedding preparations. She wasn't special. Max's voice came on the line next, mumbled and evasive. "Mom, it was intimate. Just us and witnesses." But Renate knew better. Later that evening, unable to resist, she scrolled through social media on her old laptop. There they were, photos of the ceremony. Lena in a stunning white gown, partially funded by Renate's generosity, posing with her parents, siblings and friends. Champagne toasts, laughter, joy. Everything but Renate. The betrayal stung deeper than any wound she'd known. That night she sat on her bed, the pink dress hanging mockingly in her closet, and wept. Not just for the exclusion, but for the years of overlooked slights. The forgotten Mother's Days, the visits that only happened when they needed something, the way Lena's eyes glazed over when Renate shared stories from her past. She had been invisible, valued only for her checkbook. A week later the call came. Lena's voice, once smug, now trembled with desperation. "Renate, the rent's overdue. The landlord's threatening eviction. You forgot the transfer." Renate paused, letting the silence stretch. She remembered every transfer, every sacrifice. Eating canned soup to afford their steaks, skipping her own doctor's appointments to cover Lena's emergencies. "Lena," Renate said calmly, "didn't I warn you that I only help special people?" The line went dead silent. Lena stammered, "I don't understand. Or family. You're like a second mom to me." But the words rang hollow, a script pulled out when the money dried up. Renate hung up, her heart pounding not with fear, but with a newfound resolve. That night the tears came again, hot, angry ones. She cried for the foolish woman she'd been, trading her dignity for crumbs of affection. By morning something had shifted. Looking in the mirror, Renate saw not just the wrinkles of age, but a spark of defiance. She brewed coffee and, for the first time in years, didn't think of calling Max. Instead, she pulled out her financial records. The numbers were staggering. Rent: $500 x 36 months equals $18,000. Groceries and supplies: $200 per month equals $7,200. Gifts for birthdays, holidays: at least $3,000. Medical bills for Lena: $800. Unrepaid car loan: $2,500. Air conditioner repair: $600. Furniture: $1,200. Total: $33,300. Money siphoned from her retirement, her savings, Robert's legacy. All for what? To be sidelined at her son's wedding. The phone rang. Max. She let it go to voicemail. Then Lena. Ignored. A text: "Mom, we need to talk." Deleted. Renate stepped out for a walk, passing the park where she'd pushed Max on swings as a child. When did it change, she wondered. When did her sweet boy become this entitled man, seeing her as an endless resource? At the bank, Mr. Klein, the manager who'd processed her transfers for years, greeted her with concern. "Mrs. Richter, everything okay?" She nodded. "Cancel all automatic payments. Block access to my accounts." He hesitated but complied, sensing the steel in her voice. "You're doing the right thing," he said softly as she left, phone buzzing ignored in her purse. Returning home, Renate found chaos. 3 cars outside, shadows moving in her living room. They'd used the keys she'd given them in trust. Inside, Max slouched on the sofa, Lena paced, and a stranger, Mr. Fisher, a lawyer, rifled through her papers. "What is this?" Renate demanded. Lena spun, desperate. "Renate, thank God. Mr. Fisher is here about your situation." "My situation?" Renate echoed. Max looked up, eyes pleading. "Mom, you cancelled the transfers. We're worried about your mental health." The lawyer extended a hand. "Mrs. Richter, your family thinks you need help. Perhaps a power of attorney." Renate recoiled. They weren't here for reconciliation, they wanted control. "Out. All of you." Lena teared up. "At your age, confusion is normal." "I am not confused," Renate snapped. "I'm awake." Mr. Fisher warned of legal options, but Renate threw his documents in the trash. As they left, Max muttered, "This will end badly for you, Mom. You'll be alone." "I already am," she replied, closing the door on her old life. That night, adrenaline kept her awake. By dawn she had a plan. First, contact Mr. Weber, her late husband's estate lawyer. "Elder financial abuse," he called it, reviewing her records. "We'll document everything, change your will." They spent hours tallying the exploitation. Mr. Weber whistled at the total. "You could have traveled the world with this." Next, new locks from Mr. Summers' hardware store. "For my house this time," she told him. His son Ethan installed cameras. "Peace of mind," he said. Lena called from a blocked number. "We miss you. Let's have dinner to celebrate the wedding." "How much rent do you owe?" Renate cut in. $1,000, Lena admitted. "But we love you too. If I'm so important, why exclude me from the wedding? When did you last call just to check on me?" Silence. Renate hung up, then treated herself to a salon day. Cut, color, manicure. Cynthia, her stylist, noted. You look free. A neighbor, Eleanor Brooks, knocked later, concerned about the yelling she'd heard. Over coffee, Renate poured out her story. Eleanor shared her own, cutting off a greedy daughter, leading to genuine reconciliation years later. Hope flickered. Renate slept soundly, dreaming of her own future. The next day, locks changed, cameras up. She called Diana, confessing everything. It was about time, Diana said. They treated you like a bank, not a mom. Diana revealed more. Max never spoke lovingly of Renate. Lena talked of inheritance in future tense, as if waiting for her to die. The pain was sharp but clarifying. Eleanor visited with coffee, sharing manipulation tactics. Make her indispensable, create emergencies, question her sanity. Renate visited Robert's grave, apologizing for squandering his legacy. I've learned now, she whispered. Homeward she spotted cars again. Max, Lena, strangers. She called Mr. Weber. He summoned police. A restraining order was in place. Max shouted, "You can't call cops on family." "Family doesn't sue for incompetence," she retorted. Eleanor hosted dinner. Her daughter showed what real family looked like. No money asked. Days passed peacefully, but Max and Lena circled like sharks, driving by. Renate logged it all. Then a social worker, Ms. Schmidt, arrived, sent by concerned family. Accusations of paranoia, financial erraticism. Renate called Mr. Weber. He dismantled their claims with documentation. Ms. Schmidt left, case closed. Diana vented. They're destroying everything for money. Eleanor introduced her garden club friends, women with similar tales. They shared, laughed, toasted to boundaries. Renate grieved the lost illusion but embraced freedom. No more obligations. Her money for her dreams. A month later, Mr. Weber brought bad news. Lawsuit for incompetence. Witnesses. Lena, neighbor Mr. Davis, pharmacist Mr. Green. Renate confronted them. Mr. Green admitted being tricked. He provided a clarifying statement. Mr. Davis was hostile. Observations twisted. Dr. Moore evaluated Renate. Excellent cognition. Friends offered testimonies. Trial loomed. Renate prepared strong. In court, their lawyer painted her as manipulated. Witnesses faltered under cross-examination. Renate's side shone. Experts, friends, her own poised testimony. Judge Miller ruled. Mrs. Richter is competent. Petition denied. Victory. Celebration with friends. You won your life back. Months later, Renate sold her house, moved downtown, donated to elder abuse charities, traveled Europe, painted, volunteered. No contact from Max and Lena. Rumors of their downsizing, working harder.